Hello everyone, I am Keith and welcome to Jack's Math Notebook. In this video, we're going to use three examples to study absolute value equations, the type of equations that you might see at the end of Algebra 1 and at the beginning of Algebra 2. And let's take a look at the first big example in which we have the absolute value of x plus 9 is equal to 15. When we see an absolute value equation like this, there are going to be two scenarios, and here they are for this particular one. X plus 9 is going to equal to 15, and x plus 9 is going to equal to negative 15. We have to consider those two scenarios because that's what happens when you're dealing with an absolute value equation, and we're going to show you why that is the case. So let's take a look at the first equation in which we have x plus 9 is equal to 15. Let us subtract 9 from both sides, and when we do that, we have x is equal to 6. And if you plug 6 back into the absolute value equation right here, 6 plus 9 equals 15, right? And the absolute value of 15 is 15. And let's take a look at the second scenario. Again, we have x plus 9, in this case, is equal to a negative 15. And so let us subtract 9 from both sides again. And when we do that, x will be equal to a negative 24. Plugging negative 24 back into the absolute value equation, a negative 24 plus 9 will give us a negative 15, and the absolute value of negative 15 is 15. And let's move on to the second big example in which we have the absolute value of 5, or I should say the absolute value of x plus 5 is equal to 9. Working with our two scenarios, we have x plus 5 is equal to 9 and x plus 5 is equal to negative 9. Going back to the first scenario, all we're going to do is just subtract 5 from both sides, and we know that these two 5s cancel themselves out, and 9 minus 5 would give us 4, and x is equal to 4. Plugging it back into the equation, 4 plus 5 does give me 9, and the absolute value of 9 equals 9. And let's go on to the second big example right here, or I should say the second scenario, in which we have x plus 5 is equal to negative 9, again subtracting 5 from both sides, and we see that x is equal to a negative 14, plugging it back into the absolute value equation. Negative 14 plus 5 will give me a negative 9, and the absolute value of negative 9 is 9. And let's move on to our final example in which we have the absolute value of 8, or I should say x plus 8 is equal to 22. Again, utilizing our two scenarios, we have x plus 8 is equal to 22 and x plus 8 is equal to a negative 22. And let's go to the first scenario and work that one out, in which we're going to subtract 8 from both sides, and we will discover that x is equal to 14. Plugging it back into the absolute value equation, 14 plus 8 will give me 22. And 22 is the absolute value of 22. And let us move on to the second scenario in which we have x plus 8 is equal to a negative 22, subtracting 8 from both sides. And as you can see, x will be equal to a negative 30. Plugging it back into the equation, the absolute value equation rather, negative 30 plus 8 will give me a negative 22. And the absolute value of negative 22 is 22. Okay, you have been given some significant information. I wouldn't blame you if you need to pause the video to take a look at these three big examples or replay this video as many times as you need to gain a deeper understanding of this concept. But in the meantime, please comment, share, like, and subscribe to Jack's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.